The regional impact of what we've done this year is the bringing together of 9 local authorities to create a very special project, a project that grew from a really small idea a couple of years ago into a very exciting and inspiring series of performances up and down the River Severn.
We've been to over, we've travelled this wide country, over, where the hell is over? Sink 'cause you're on the brink and turn your sandbags over. Sailing east, sailing west, don't get in a dither. You better watch out when your house begins to rock or you'll lose the lot in the river.
It's a great pleasure that I launched this event. It's lovely to see Shropshire in the forefront again, working with desperate men.
My name is Olga Natalia Ivanovna, and my 2 meters long green sturgeon got stolen by river inspectors, thieves. Tell them, Eugene.
These so-called river inspectors call themselves ecologists. They're wrong. We of the Sturgeon Canning Company are planning to look after sturgeon in a major way here in the River Severn and elsewhere. These plans are in jeopardy due to their foolish intervention and theft of this extremely valuable sturgeon. The dolts, the imbeciles.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you the sturgeon that saved my life. Her Latin name is Assispenser sturio.
There were moments when we thought, are we doing the right thing to be going ahead at such a time? People are not even living in their own homes, they haven't got running water. Should we be having a celebration about the River Severn? And we talked to lots of people and lots of authorities, and we thought, yes, we should, because actually that's what culture and arts is all about, getting the community involved, getting people to have a sense of place in their own town.
Because the river flows through all the counties, we wanted to come up with something that was appropriate to the river and appropriate to a whole journey. And of course, sturgeons have for thousands of years travelled up the River Severn. And in fact, what's been notable this summer is how people could not believe the 8-foot fish that we were carrying ever swum up the Severn. They could not believe it. In fact, I think there's still hundreds of people who think we were just telling porky pies about it. But the fish was a great metaphor for the journey, and people really connected with essentially this green piece of latex. Young people and kids really started to care about this fish and what was happening to it. They really got involved with the river inspectors, and they hated, with a vengeance, the sturgeon hunter and the countess who were out to steal the fish and rob it of its caviar. In fact, in Ironbridge at the last show, we had to change completely the storyline, where young people got hold of the fish and they would not allow the sturgeon hunter and the countess to get away with it, to drive off with it. We had to alter the whole storyline and react, which was great.
Call yourself a doctor! Come on, doctor! Let me see you, doctor! What about the Hippocratic?
I think that the Severn Project has certainly captured people's imaginations, and you know that it has, because when they recognise you walking down the street in your Severn Project t-shirt on the day of their event, people stop you and they say, "Where's the fish? Where's the fish?" And you stop and you say, "Oh, well, I'm sure I just saw it go that way."
We've got a sturgeon and at its urgent we're going upstream for its immersion. Urgent surgeon, love conversion, belly full of eggs and a need to purge 'em. Sailing east, sailing west, don't get in a dither. You better watch out when your house begins to rock or you'll lose a lot in the river.
Well, for us, the sort of link between the participative workshops and the spectacle and the performance is very important. And we find It's not rocket science, but if you have a week of workshops with the kids, which then culminates in a weekend performance, then of course the kids are going to come, and of course they're going to bring their parents and their family, and that can be a core audience. So we certainly worked with that.
Today's been excellent. We just caught the arrival of the river inspectors, and myself and the children have run off with the river inspectors trying to hide the sturgeon around the dock. And the children have all been having a fantastic time and getting very, very involved with the whole project.
I think this project has the capacity to sort of tap into people's passion for their place. The River Severn is tremendously important for Gloucestershire, and we want to exploit that passion for place.
You can only plan so much. For example, in Upton, we suddenly decided to do a scene outside the public toilets. What we decided to do was the sturgeon hunter would attack the river inspectors who were hiding in the toilet. So he ran in with a smoke machine and blasted them. The river inspectors were overcome. One had to be taken up on a trolley right up through the high street to Gloucester Royal Infirmary for further treatment. Fantastic. That is, for me, the beauty of street arts is the audience know it's live. They know they are part of the story. They know they're part of the show. They can have an influence on it. They can feed in. They can react.
Very good. Like a normal Saturday in Upton, really.
Well, that's usual opposite folk, isn't it?
Stretch it away.
In Ironbridge, when they were hiding the fish behind a huge crowd of people and the sturgeon hunter appeared, the river inspectors said to the crowd, just turn your backs on them and whistle.
Act all innocent, all start whistling like this. You just turn around and go.
And I watched between 60 and 80 people turn around with their hands behind their backs and whistling and pretending that the fish was not there. And I don't know how else you describe capturing people's imagination, because for me, when a group of 60 people spontaneously participate in something, then that's inspiring for me as well.
Other people obviously looked out of their car windows and saw the larder and the fish kettle and thought, what the hell is that? Who are they? What's that? But people were going into town to do their shopping. Last thing they thought they would experience would be music being played off a building, a sturgeon being run through the streets. There was lots of intimate one-to-one work going on between the performers and the audience.
Hello, are you interested in caviar?
I am. How much are you selling it for?
£100 per ounce.
I think street art's a very unique way of engaging people, catching people unawares. They don't have time to prepare themselves and put their walls up. You only have to have a few seconds with a street performer if they're of good quality, like the 7 performers are. And you don't forget it for weeks, you know. It's something that can make you really think about something in a completely different way.
This is me swimming the channel.
That's it. I think she's still alive. You do it mouth to mouth. Okay. I'll do the pumping. What a lovely moment.
Spring tides, or the boar as it is called.
The 7 boars was an idea that came up very early in the project. It seemed a natural thing. There is a 7 boar. Oh, the 7 boars. It was the idea that we record on 4 Walkmans a monologue, outpouring of material about the history of the 7, all stuff that we'd dug up in the research.
A major flood happens on average every 200 years. 1947 was the last one.
They just broke down barriers. Every age group could relate to them in some way. They drew out really fantastic stories, especially from older people that had got a lot of memories of the 7. They drew out incredible stories. You know, I think they were outboard a number of times actually as well, which was quite entertaining.
A Severn boar comes down past Bristol, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, the 7.
We're listening to people and they're listening to us. And I think they're very surprised at the quality of the research that has gone into the 7 characters, for example.
So where did you drown?
In Niagara Falls. I tried to swim along the bottom of Niagara Falls. £12,000 I was offered.
bashed my head on a rock. After 4 minutes, they found my body 4 days later.
Oh, no.
I was buried out there. I never came home to Dorley.
My name is Alexander Lambert, Diver Lambert, and I'm one of the unsung heroes of the Severn. I was the person who was responsible for unblocking the Severn tunnel. I put a huge plate in place to stop it flooding, and then we were able to pump out the water. But I also was the first person to try out the first scuba gear. This is the rebreather.
How very intrepid of you, Alistair.
That's true. Not many people know about me, unfortunately, but I'm going to put that right today.
Good.
You do have some very strange people come up and down this river, I can assure you. And they told me of their plans, and I was a bit dubious at first, thinking, yes, is this another crank idea? But they were very genuine, and I said whatever I can do. They saw the boat, they wanted to use the boat, and I said that as a pub we'll do absolutely anything that we could possibly do to help them. I think anything now that happens in and around the river and brings awareness about the river and the flooding problems, I think is great. It's great for the town, it's great for the other places they'll visit. It brings a vibrancy into the town which isn't here normally.
It's good in a place like Upton when we've had the recent flooding, and I suppose you could cancel everything. You could say we're not having fun, but to be honest, I think this is the best time to have fun. A friend of mine with some young children came along and she said this was really interesting. Even though they were very small, the fish excited them. They didn't know what it was, but it was just surprising and interesting and all of these things. And I think they'll go home and some strange questions will come up maybe in the next week, which have just made them think. That's what the arts is about, really. If it doesn't make people think, then it's not doing the right thing.
In about approximately an hour, we will be secreting ourselves into your community. We'll be talking to you as river inspectors, talking to you about the river and its effect on your community. So great! Wow! I know that business.
The Desperate Men's way of doing things is a little bit offbeat, a little bit quirky, but whilst doing that, they've got a lot of information, facts and things behind it. So you see people being a little bit scared, and then you see the street theatre actually welcoming them in and making them feel really part of something.
It's a very large geographical area that the Severn Project is covering, and we've been able to do it through the cooperation of all of the local authorities that are now partners in this. And what we've been able to do is make an awful lot of contacts with lots of different organisations, individuals, artists, schools, all kinds of different community groups and endeavours.
I don't think that we look at rivers in terms of the communities that are on them, the tourism and economic development that they bring, but also the sense of well-being and health that you get when you go down to those spaces. It is a tremendous resource that's underused, and that the Severn Project has given us a focus to explore with local people what it means to them.
Health and well-being is a major part of what learning, culture and community safety does. Our vision is very much about enabling people, about empowering people, about connecting individuals and communities together. And this project really does do that. It helps people's self-esteem, it helps people connect with one another, that social interaction. It also helps people think about where they're living as well and what's gone on in the past. So it's very much a community project to be owned by the community, to be shaped by the community, and ultimately for the community to have pride in what they see as an end result.
What we did in Telford, as well as employing the nationally significant artists, we had contracted some local artists because that seems absolutely vital to the success of it as well. We had Jason come down. People's response to him was superb. He was covered in balloons and made out that there were fish eggs and looked quite ridiculous, but was really good. And I sort of quite humoured me, really, that there's these people from all over the world who perhaps thought that that was normal.
I think the project is one of those things that is greater than the sum of its parts. By all working together, the project becomes more than just, an odd happening along the river here and there. It becomes a journey, it becomes something quite important. And I think that's, again, what working together offers us, to actually make something which might just be odd little isolated events actually have a cohesion and an energy that it wouldn't have just us each doing our own little bit.
performance started with lots of fire cans being lit alongside the river, and the smoke drifted into the town and across the bridge. And so people, even if they didn't know that there was anything going to happen, noticed something going on. There was all this smoke coming out of the trees and the flames flickering in the trees, and people gathered on the bridge and were led towards the smoke and the flames and alongside the river to the park.
I've never seen an audience as engaged with what we were doing. They cheered, they booed, they gave the responses that were demanded of them. It was amazing. They didn't know what was going to happen next. Things were coming from this side, things were coming from that side. There was music, there was fire. And actually, I think what we created was a true piece of popular theatre. And a guy turned to me and he said, "This is amazing. Look, there's drummers coming from over there. And oh, there's fire coming from over there. Oh, look, there's a car coming around the corner." He was just like totally taken by the whole thing.
This is just all red tape!
I was very moved by it and the effect that it had on people. And there's a kind of inexorable sort of momentum to those things once they start. For me, the most moving and touching bits was when the chief of the river inspector was alone holding the fish with everybody against her. And she was caught in the spotlights and saying, "You can't take my fish." And she was at one point with a lone trumpet player. And that image up against the black sky, there was just her and the fish. And everybody was just watching her, and they were all with her saying, "No, don't give away the fish."
As soon as you mention the River Severn, people are excited. People want to dedicate their time and get involved.
It is enormous, the potential for this project to connect up all those local authorities and to have them all talking round a table about a shared arts event, to getting a shared vision of what it's about, is unique. It's not happening anywhere else.
This year, the Severn Project has delighted and surprised and possibly unnerved thousands of people. But what we need to do now is build the project. We need to build the capacity of our team to create more exciting work, more surprising work for small rural communities.
Come on now! Come on! Ladies and gentlemen, to the river!
The priority for all of us is to inspire people and unite people and link people together through art. We've all got the same aim, really, and this project can totally do that.
Brilliant night. The fish looked real. Great. It was the best night ever. Fireworks. The fireworks were amazing.
From one stage to another stage.
You never knew what was happening. It was like one there, something was happening there, something was happening there. It was good
We're over and out. Absolutely brilliant.
We've just moved to Bridgnorth, and this is fantastic. This is what it's all about, living by the river, and it's fantastic that they do all this. Fantastic, great, lovely.
It's been an amazing experience. In fact, the experience of a lifetime. Absolutely brilliant.
We've been here all day. We watched it from the quayside this morning, and we watched all the fireworks and the fun and the play tonight, and it was incredible. Really
Amazing,
incredible.
amazing. Well done, Shropshire County Council.